Oh, he's okay. He's not. Oh, okay. So he's looking like playing a big croquet stroke going to blue now with this peel. You've got to be pretty confident you're going to get a fair part of the hoop if you're playing this. But he is. Yeah. He's very good at the weight of these shots. The red won't be travelling so fast to Penalt because you'll get a lot of topspin on this going to the blue. But again, it's... Oh, no, he's fallen.
No. It's more what we said in the first place.
Yeah. He would have liked another half yard on the red, but he'll take that.
But he's got yellow in a good place.
Yeah.
Lovely weight. He's now thinking, do I go back for blue?
I think
is he thinking that?
Kind of has to. I think he is, yeah. I think he is, Kane. I think he's just about... I'm just thinking of what side of the hoop he's going. He could go out to the east and come down that way. But,
So he's going to do the hoop first?
No,
Yes, I think so. He's got to be running the hoop first.
He's going out to the west, okay. Gives him a couple of options as well, though, out to the west. It doesn't have to go to blue. If he doesn't get it
stalking
right.
The ball. This is what I've got a beginner's group I'm taking at the moment, and I say to them now, the Fletcher distance is 1 foot from the hoop, but we don't want the Fletcher distance because we would go too wide and not get the hoop at all. But the Fletcher method is always stalk the ball, even if you're only that 1 foot out, and that's what he's been doing.
Yes, and he never changes. He's very deliberate on all of those disciplines. He's prepared to leave the blue ball behind till he gets to Rover, so he's putting it all onto this rush on red to Penalt, and he'd like it close so he can cleanly peel red down to Rover, or at least well past the peg towards Rover. Some delicate shots to play.
So
he's putting black just south of the hoop as an escape ball after his peel.
Yes, so the peel will go through a long way, and then it will act as the receiver down at Rover.
Yeah. And he'll be trying to rush red as close as he can to the hoop to play as an Irish peel. It's very difficult sometimes to play it as a stop shot and control it from distance. And not that Robert needs luck, but you need a little bit of luck. You need some luck what happens to the peelie as it comes out of Penalt. There's nothing worse than it coming out dead straight and hitting the middle of the peg, and nothing worse than it getting a bit of a wick off the wire and ending up 4 or 5 yards to the east or west of the Rover. So you can play with this with a good bit of power. Yeah.
So is he doing the kind of stroke where the striker ball goes through at the same time? Is that what he's going to do? Or is he going to leave it in the hoop and bring it through gently so he can hit black?
He'll play it reasonably firm. He needs this red down past the peg as a minimum. And ideally yellow comes through the hoop, but if yellow manages to stop in the hoop, that's great. He can tap through. But if the yellow just drops through the hoop, which happens more than you want, he's able to hit the sideway ball on the black. So the black's absolutely perfectly placed. For anyone wanting to know where should I put that black ball, it's probably exactly there. There's not much can go wrong. Yeah. And he got some peg, but he played at a good enough pace. Yeah. Good enough pace, though, that he's still most of the way down. He's just going to rely on a very good rush to the rover. And that is the luck element. If that misses the peg, it's right down in front of rover.
So now does he go for blue?
He goes to blue, yes, but he also would like probably black down blue south of rover as well. Again, just giving him two options of what happens after the ball is run through rover. So by having two balls down below the hoop, can let you manipulate the peg out or the hampered shot if need be. A little bit better. Yeah, nicely played. And one more yard on blue would be great, but no, we'll take that.
So he wants blue on the far side, the non-running side of the hoop, and yellow to hit red to where it can run the hoop on the croquet shot, yeah?
Yes. Yeah. Look just for a really controllable rush on this red ball. And that looks a little bit bare land north of rover, so I don't think he'll be risking rushing too close to rover. He'll probably be quite happy if he has a 2-foot peel, as long as it's reasonably straight. I don't expect him to be rushing red so close. He'll be relying on his skills of peeling. He's the very, very best peeler you ever see. Bit of distance between yellow and red, a little bit more than he'd like. It means he's got to cut it as well, but he's probably aiming for a yard now. Could be aiming for 1 yard or 2.5 feet out as the peeling. It's a decision that has to be made. How aggressive do you get on with this rush? Do you go for the money shot right on the right foot out, or do you give yourself a chance of peeling from a yard or somewhere in between? That looks pretty good.
Oh,
that's perfect.
My goodness.
Absolutely perfect. Not only are we going to possibly have the recorded triple, recorded sets tuple, it's been spectacular. He's had to come out with some escape plan nearly every second hoop. So it's absolutely super stuff.
Let's not have commentators curse on it.
No.
It's still got to play out. It's a bit of time to go.
I'm confident that there's no more drama.
Oh, no, don't say that. Don't say that. Whoa. Holding our breath again. Aha. So now he goes to blue, he goes to black, he gets behind red, he sends red up to the peg. All the peels are done.
Yep.
And red has got a line on the peg by the looks. So it's not going to have to go too far away from the peg. It's not going to hit rover. So
no.
Just updating the scores. Was that 12? It's 12.
12.
Yeah. Yeah, 12, both on 12. Both have run 12. Did it for me. Now, I have known players come at this point and call the referee just to make sure that their ball doesn't hit the peg on its way through, in which case it's out of play and the turn is over. But he hasn't done that, so there was no call to the referee, but it did not come close to hitting the peg on its way through. As a referee, it is very nice to be called at this exact moment where you can see that
Yes,
the ball's being
that's
pegged
what
out.
I was going to add, Kate. Yes. Yeah.
You think, glory goodness, this is, come on, Robert, you can hit the peg.
Well done.
And he's pegged out. Well done, Robert.
Okay, now we're at 1-0, so we can turn our attention to Trevor making a match and coming back in this game. We'll have a short break, and I take it they'll take a minute or two. If not.
So we're just waiting for the referees knocking in the hoops. I'm not sure whether they'll be taking a pause now. They're probably going to take a slight pause to recap to allow a moment of pause for Trevor, who's just been demolished in that game and is now coming back for a second game. And Edward, we'll hand over to you, but we'll just put our screen up. 26-1, that win to Robert Fletcher in the first of the best of three finals for the Brian Reither Cup. Edward Wilson will be back to commentate along with one of the Landreeps, and we will be back with you in just a few minutes. So just put the screen up and listen to the music while we wait for the players to regroup. While we're waiting, we're going to bring up the results of the most recent games, because while these two have been playing, there have been games going on the outside courts. They've been playing a modified Swiss, and the games are going to come through showing the most recent results. So you can see here we've got Robert's sextuple Peel, that's SXP against Trevor Bassett. Tricia Devlin has been playing Lewis Mercer. Lois Kirk beat Josh Wilson. And then we go into the semi-final results, which those of you who have been with us earlier in the day will know about. But the results were that Robert Fletcher beat Lachlan Berryman and Trevor Bassett beat Claire Bassett. A very tight game lead going from one to the other throughout. So now we'll have a small pause and bring up the MySport Live Croquet Victoria signboard and come back to you in just a few minutes. What did I mean? Just
okay. So we've got the start of the second game now.
We have got the start of the second game. We'll take the signboard away.
Yep. So Robert put out an anti-duffer opening. Trevor's gone into standard response with a bit of a tie, so not the toughest tie. This is a an opening that you don't see too often, so quite aggressive from Robert with that opening, and Trevor's put this Tice down on the west boundary with a shot that if Robert hits it, he has a chance of getting behind. Oh, he has missed. So there was a chance of getting behind that ball out on the east boundary, but and trying a third turn 9. Unfortunately, he has missed, so we don't get to see him have a crack at that. But interesting and good response from Trevor. Now, probably the normal response here would be Trevor shooting at blue from A-bolt. Oh, he's going down to yellow to shoot. Righto. Well, this is a is he shooting at partner? Yeah, it looks like shooting at partner. So trying to keep away from yellow. If he were to shoot at it from A-bolt, he'd shoot from the right at the end of A-bolt. So he would only have a longer shot at it, but he's opted to take the much longer shot at partner and end up on the west boundary. That's miss. Robert will probably have another shot through. But looks to have also missed that one. Shot through, just can't see for sure, but I did see yellow swinging past. Oh no, he did hit blue. There you go. So Robert with a little bit of a tricky approach to hoop one. We saw both players get around tough hoop one approaches in the first game. So from the side with a flat mallet, as all players should, and he's hit a good approach, so left himself a little longer than he would have liked, so won't have full control of it.
Not
Yeah,
the
good shot.
not the normal Fletcher distance.
No, well, when you're approaching hoop one at the start of the break, generally, you can leave it a little bit longer. Just making sure you're getting in front with a nice straight hoop is key for sure. Where we saw in the first game, Trevor on his first turn, we're taking Croquet, unfortunately overrolled the approach to hoop one, trying to get quite close. So when you're just hopping on the lawn and not in a perfect rhythm yet, your hoop approaches are a delicate shot, which can easily go wrong and be quite costly if you do get them wrong. So leaving them a tiny little bit longer for the first one or two hoops is pretty acceptable. As you saw, Robert did that just there. So he's got the whole lawn, all 4 balls that he's bringing into this break. Again, since he's a game up and has just come off completing a sextuple, I'd be surprised if he chose any other leave. He's disappointed that I wasn't able to see some of the last game, but it's got off to a really good start and sounds like he completed it quite quickly in the end.
He did. And the great merit of having all of it recorded is you will be able to see it in the future. You won't have completely missed out on it because there it is, recorded with expert commentary from Pete Landreeb, who is very appreciative of some of the finer points of how Robert got himself into little pickles and then rescued himself again, and really quite exciting. We were all holding our breath and trying not to move in case we distracted him. Foolish, really, but there you go.
Are there a few people spectating from BCA today?
No. This, when I say we, I mean those in the commentary box who are very remote and absolutely unlikely to be disturbing Robert in any way. But we just felt we ought to be holding our breath just the same,
He's left this one quite short. So as I said, you generally give yourself a little bit of leeway for these first few hoop approaches when you're trying to get in on a break. Robert obviously coming just back off the lawn after a sextuple would be feeling pretty good, but he has left that one short and no troubles, which is the beauty of hoop 2. You being on a boundary, you can spank them through and only have a 2 or 3 yard return. But not quite as much in a rhythm as he was in his first breaks. You can see that the wind has picked up just a little bit. See the flags fluttering in the background. So whether that's coming into it and making playing conditions a little bit more difficult, I'm unsure.
I think it's something that anyone who plays at Canley regularly would be fairly used to because it's a big area and not very sheltered. There's often there's buildings imminently going up for the last 5 or 6 years to the geographical south, but they have not gone up yet, and there's no shelter on that side. And there is often a lot of wind at Canley. And the players do complain about it. Well, you've probably encountered it yourself.
Yeah, so, as you said, we're quite used to it for sure, but sort of never get over the challenge of it. you know, because it does make it quite challenging when you're holding a long, lightweight mallet, you know, which picks up wind pretty well. It does make it tough to, you know, I personally have quite a long swing and swing the ball. Right, that is a tricky position as well for Rob. So not making it easy for himself in the early stages of this break.
It's not quite dead in front of the hoop, but there's not much clearance. And he's got to move black, as we know, so he's got to get in a little bit. So yellow could very easily snag on the hoop or just go out a bit far and be on the wrong angle for running. Oh, well.
Yeah, he's left it nice and long there, so it's a little bit angled.
Yes, it's hard to see from the side, but you can see from the angle between the body and the hoop, can't you?
Oh.
Did you get through?
So he has made it through. He's just checking whether it's touching, and it doesn't appear to be. That is an interesting shot. So great angle to be able to see how close those balls are here. It's
is it touching?
I think quite clearly through. He's just calling a referee out to watch his next shot for where he can hit these balls. He'll be, yeah, I don't know.
Goodness. I think it is touching.
Right, so he was just getting the referee out to confirm that it was through the hoop, just for the...
And it wasn't touching, because now he's brought
etiquette,
them together.
Yeah, etiquette of for Trevor.
Now we are one game up to Robert, not showing on the scoreboard yet, but maybe we'll be able to make that show. He's run 3 hoops with yellow. He's completed a sextuple in his first game. We have no indication of what he's going to do in this one. And Rosie Landreeb is back with us. Rosie, I'm handing over to you.
I'm sorry, Kate. I'm still logged in as Rosie, but it's Peter.
Pete Landreeb, I'm handing over to you.
Sorry. Okay, thank you, Kate.
It's you and Edward.
Afternoon, Edward.
Afternoon, Peter. Sounded like a good sextuple in the last game.
Oh, sensational, Edward. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure if you got to watch it while you were having a break, but if not, it's pretty special.
Didn't, unfortunately. But it was special, was it? He played it well?
Yes, he got, I mean, I don't know if you talk about luck with Robert, he got a couple of unlucky rubs to the green, which he recovered very well. He also played some croquet strokes that put him under pressure, that meant he had to play some tough rush roquets, and they sometimes went in the wrong direction, and he had to do some recovery rolls to hoops, things like that. But when the critical shot was required to hold on to the break and keep the sextuple going, they were phenomenally good.
Right. Okay.
Probably the biggest bit of when he was ending up peeling 4 back with a rush to 3 back, which he handled very well.
Oh, right. Yep.
But then when he ran 3 back, he had one of those situations where you had to do a takeoff 2-3 back. And when he ran the hoop, it was one of those ones I can't miss the ball whatsoever running the hoop. But he didn't. He ended up on near quarter 3 and having to hit PLE.
Right. And where did he send PLE to?
cut it towards between Beeborg and Penalt. And so he played a croquet stroke in and left the ball behind down there, free back, and just rushed across to 4-back. And
oh, wow. Okay.
played, and then never went back down to the ball near free back till after Penalt. And Pearley, even at Penalt, got a good chunk of the peg, so he had to play a super Russian to get Rover peeled, and it was, spectacular.
Yeah.
So,
sounds like a pretty exceptional turn.
Yeah, because I had just said,
well, he'll be feeling good about it.
I said, if he gets this 4-back peeled jawed or gets it through, I think he's well above 90% chance of finishing the set double. And then all of a sudden he ran 3-back third up into the third corner. I was like, oh God. But anyway, no, perfect. It was spectacular. Sorry, we're having a private chat about doing commentary, Edward.
No, it's good to get some insight. Well, we just saw here, we were talking in the last game about the correct ball movement when you're playing to down to your ball at hoop 6, and when you have a really good pioneer for hoop 6 and it's either dead in front or sort of slightly west of the hoop, west of in front of the hoop, you can play the takeoff, but he had it about a foot east of the line of the hoop, so opted to rush partner back down, so sacrificing the position on partner a little bit, as you can see.
Got the control out of
in this shot. Yeah, exactly. So.
I know, and that's good. That's good for anyone watching, Edward. When do I rush up and when do I take off? Going up there. It's good.
Yeah. So it really depends. So Robert also had so if you had full control of all the balls, early in the break, which Robert didn't, you could manipulate it. So you were making hoop 4 with Oppo, and already had Oppo loaded at hoop 6. Oh, he's played an interesting shot there. We'll need to play a really, really good shot here to have a rush on partner and still put blue in a wide position.
He's got a bit of movement a fair way, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. So if you're running hoop 4 Oppo, you can set to have a rush back down and manipulate those balls after 4 if partner is at 5, obviously. That's just one of the many little intricacies of sextuples. Wow, he's hit that hard. Wowee. He's shaking his head there, so
he's rushing to
looks
one
like
back.
we may miss the chance at another sextuple here.
Just another bit of insight question, Edward. Robert looked like he was deliberately pushing black deep on that cross wiring, yet it's not that Trevor's made a break with the blue ball and forcing him to shoot the long shot with the black ball. So was that a deliberate, setting a very wide cross wiring?
Look, honestly, I'm not too sure. Well, obviously, so we were talking earlier about that he likes to try and get the peel before hoop 1. And if those balls are slightly wider, it does give you more room to get around them. If you do. Oh, wow, he's got a very unlucky hill there. So if you set them slightly wider, it does make the roll down a little bit easier, because you've got more split, so you can get the ratio a little bit easier. So and if you are right behind the hoop, you can still get around the ball and get a rush. Oh, shot. Oh, look at that. And that's why he's put black there.
That's all we needed. No, but thanks for that. That makes sense. I know Reg likes it out there, and that's possibly the reason why as well, that he's looking for that
I mean,
wide.
that's not. I don't know that that's the reason. Yeah, I'll we. I don't know what our interviewing capabilities are remotely, but after the match, we asked Robert, "Why'd you put Black so wide?"
No, I know. Yes, were your croquet shots just out, or was it a deliberate question? I'm not sure it's the best one.
Yeah, I mean, these the croquet strokes in this break haven't been quite up to the same standard as they were of his initial break in the first game. They have been a little bit more long and skatey. So I was just commenting that if the wind has picked up, it might be making playing conditions a little bit tougher. Whether he's just reading the speed of the court slightly differently with how he's manhandling his croquet mallet, which can happen quite easily when there's just another factor that you're thinking about. So it could be as simple as he just pushed it up too far.
Yeah. For the state of the match, a pretty healthy position to be in, though, isn't it now? Even if that recovery of having to go to one back, he's game up, showing that he's got set stumpling peels all rolling well, and now he's going to be break up in game 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Break up and Trevor to come back in the match, and
Trevor will know that no matter who you're playing against, shooting at a sextuple leave, you never feel that bad about it. Obviously, there's a certain amount of risk if you are playing a Robert or a Reg or someone, and they've set to one back. You go, oh no, if I miss here, they probably are going to finish. Where if they set a 9, you know they're going to finish really.
They'll finish. Yeah. And we're only talking about 3 or 4 players in the world where you're going to have that feeling. If I don't hit this tea lady, and we're on a certain lawns, that it's all over, isn't it? And well, Robert is one of those players. It's the great thing you've got here.
But he has only finished that one today, so the others in the other games, which just shows how sextupling still isn't a ultra consistent winning tactic for him. They are low percentage play and extremely difficult to pull off for anyone, just with the amount of good shots that you've got to play, where there's a lot more room for error in triple peels, especially as you're saying, if you got those couple of unlucky ones that can pull you apart, where triple you're under just a lot more control. So those unlucky ones don't tend to be quite as harmful to the break.
Yeah, but a nice recovery from Robert here. Going to be a tight leave as well by the look of this.
Yep. Yeah, he's got these in a really nice position.
I didn't see the start of this game. Was it a 4th turn?
So the opening was interesting. Yeah. Robert opened by going across to sort of an Andy Duffer position with red. Trevor went to sort of standard old opening Tice position, sort of 10 yards north of corner 1. Robert shot down to corner 2. Trevor shot at partner from B-Bolt, and Robert shot through those two and just clipped blue, like really just edged it. So it went, sort of right angles a few yards into the lawn. And then, this has been the break since. So it was an interesting opening. Would have been interesting to see if Robert had hit 3rd turn, whether he would have still attempted to get behind partner and try and generate a 3rd turn 9, which is obviously.
I'm talking about myself now. I love that shot. If you do hit a standard Tice, if you put the Andy Duffers in, you can really attack that boundary.
I mean, boundary ball. exactly. And that ball that you hit third turn will be sitting in a pretty nice position, like around hoop 2 either way, and you can, as you're saying, take off and attack that ball behind you. Robert's putting these a long way north.
Yeah, not really off he is, isn't he? A lot of those
So
anti-duffer openings usually get responded with a corner 2 ball and gives a bit of a free shot 4th turn. So it's an interesting opening. But yeah, you're right. This is well north, Edward, isn't it? This is nearly halfway. Can't quite see the peg.
Yep. So it may mean that Trevor can see some of the ball in front of hoop 4. We'll get an assessment of that. But it also means that we talk about taking the short shot a lot to when there's good players playing. Oh no, he won't be able to see any of that.
Black looks good,
Yeah, black looks really good. This is actually looks like a pretty picture perfect. Except those are a long way up. I'd be pretty tempted to be shooting from B-Bulkers Trevor here.
Yeah. I mean, we're still talking about probably an 18-yard shot if it is a yard south of the peg, but it could have been a 20-yard or a 19-yarder, always handy.
Yeah,
Robert,
I mean,
looked like he deliberately put it.
Yeah, he looks like he's got a big window. It makes taking what you generally call the long shot down the line, which is also the safer shot, it makes that more comfortable. So most players won't turn that down if they get presented with it. If the traditional long and safe shot is shorter, you'd have to think that most people will take it. No, we can see from that.
It's fine.
Spot on.
So that bit of conversation.
Yeah, that's right. This is just about as perfect as a 2-4 can get. Or a new third lead.
Trevor is one of these players that likes the shot because he looks upon it as a bit of a double target coming off the legs of hoop 4. If he misses to the right,
way from the leg.
I'm just going to say there's a bit of distance between the hoop and ball, though.
Yeah, you can understand it when the ball is sort of 6 inches out of the hoop, but it looks, closer to a foot, which is enough. Plenty of room for a ball to go through the middle of them.
It's a good swing, but he's always.
He
got the right leg.
Yeah.
He was feeling robbed on that.
I don't reckon I've ever seen that before.
I think that when he's actually probably where he aimed at it, he's thinking that's not fair. I hit the target I was aiming at.
The bat at double, I wonder if he aimed in between them.
Yeah. He could have. He could have aimed at left leg.
Yeah.
Left from Trevor's.
Yeah, he will be feeling yeah. Or as anyone would be a bit disappointed with the outcome there. Still an interesting one for Robert. What he'll look at doing here, whether he thinks that he can rush blue up to hoop 1 because he can't really rush it to corner 2. So, or the best case scenario for where he can rush blue to is sort of at the end of A-bulk, trying to get that into the lawn, getting a rush on black, which is, a shot that you don't love taking at the start of a break when you want a bit more control. So he might just not end up with a ball anywhere near 2 here.
No, he could have obviously got his yellow across there and then come down to the 2 to deal with it, but then it's putting Peely at hoop 2, not possible to deal with. But this is Robert's. Some of his Croquet strokes have been not vintage.
Yeah, there we go. So it looks like he'll be rushing this to where I mentioned, as sort of maybe just off the end of A-bulk, putting it down to 2. Oh no, he is going for tighter control. So we'll see this place. Yeah, somewhere near yellow. So he can sort of get yellow to 3. going to blue without needing to rush it anywhere in particular. So this is a good one for anyone learning how to pick up breaks. If you're putting two balls near each other anywhere on the lawn, especially in the lawn, in the rectangle of the 4 hoops, so that's about perfect. Yeah, you can put two balls sort of near each other on the lawn, and you just know that you should be able to rush to the next hoop with control. Where if he'd try to force blue into the lawn somewhere, it's putting the next few
Could have
shots.
sacrificed that rush on black, yeah. The important bit is he got a dead straight rush to 1 hoop 1. If he,
but then
Robert's
after,
getting a dead
you
straight
can be
rush to hoop 1, he's on top of it all.
Yeah, which is, as you're saying, the important thing. And then, after the fact, you don't want loose balls just in the lawn. If you're going to have balls nowhere near your hoop that you're trying to load, you want them to be close together. You don't want them to be, 7 yards or more apart. Now this looks fairly angled from Robert as well.
Yeah, it's good 40 degrees, isn't it? That angle sailed through.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no drama. And then this is the beauty of having those two balls close together, because he'll need to play quite a good croquet stroke, quite a large croquet stroke, to get black nicely to 3 and going to yellow ideally. But then you just know that you're going to have a rush afterwards. Where if those two balls were, as I'm saying, loose, splayed out across the lawn, you've got a big croquet stroke followed by a big croquet stroke, and just putting more pressure on yourself. So yeah, a really, really good tip for beginners is if you're in a situation trying to pick up a break and you don't know where to put balls, or you can't get them to be a load, put your balls sort of close together on the lawn.
And it's quite hard for some players coming through certain levels, because they're always thinking, well, what if I don't get going, don't get the break, I'm leaving my opponent near me and all of that type of thing. So it's always used to have a thing there, is just that all the balls are grey and you're learning break play. Just irrelevant of what the colour of the balls are, just work out the system to make sure you hold on to the break.
Absolutely. Yep. So it looks like Robert won't get partner all the way to 3 unless he rushes it up there now, which he hasn't. So putting this in as more of a standard pivot ball position, which is quite fair enough. Takes pressure off getting a rush out of hoop 2 on the next few shots. Oh no, just a thick takeoff.
He's guaranteeing those rushes, isn't he, to the hoop? But yes, I can certainly see what you're saying there, Ed, with that. The yellow, another 4 yards or 3 yards across, can get the break set very tight. But one more big croquet stroke after hoop 2 just means you got to, still play some good stuff to get the peel under control.
Yep, but that's a really good, good rush there.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
So it is just exactly about deciding when you have when you want to play the good rush, and it's fair enough for Robert to want the good rush to 2, and get another good rush out of it. And hoop 2 is a easy spot to get a good rush out of. You can put a ball deep and then just run to the boundary, or if you do manage to get nice and tight position in front of the hoop, you can control your rush a bit more. So you've got some options around hoop 2. It's really handy when starting a break. If you can just get somewhere down to hoop 2, you know that you're sort of able to weasel a rush out of it somehow. There's a ball sort of floating near the boundary. And yeah, good position here for Robert to get nicely around hoop free and get this triple underway. This will feel, you know, pretty straightforward for him after last game.
Yes, it's yeah.
It's nice to see Robert, you know, playing good croquet, playing, you know, quite fluently out there, coming into the next, you know, few months.
No, he's good
Australian
stuff.
croquet, so it's good to see our you know, #1 player in the world playing at the top of his game.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right, Edward. It's just fantastic. Well, always fantastic seeing Robert, because even if Robert hasn't been able to get the lawns as much, he still turns up and just works himself into the event to be playing at his best at some time in the event. But he's arrived here and he's spot on. He's been looking really good every match. Even the first match where it wasn't quite rolling his way, he had to do some super scrambling, and it certainly set him up for the rest of the weekend. It's been super stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, good to see that he is playing breaks where he is challenged. That's what Robert likes doing anyway. You know, he likes keeping himself stimulated, whether it be through playing difficult turns or winning. He is someone who really, really loves winning, which is why he, you know, we've talked about him being such a perfectionist. You know, he tried so hard because he wants to win so much. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
You get Robert in the team situation, which we have the Robertson Shield coming up, and Robert's our #1, so he's an anchor at the top of the thing. But what he brings on the court and off the court, it just is so valuable for every member of that team. It's doubles partner or double partners, and everyone playing the singles with Robert, knowing that we have this player that's 100% dedicated and winning attitude at everything. It's just fantastic. And, so anyone watching the stream here, you'll be able to see Robert back in action with the Australian team, of yourself, Edward, and Stephen Forster and Ian DeMerg and Dwayne McCormick and Malcolm Fletcher, Robert's youngest brother.
Yeah, looking forward to that immensely. Should be a great tournament. You know, debuting in a MAC is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And, you know, we've got a team that has a really good crack.
Yeah. A team of talent. We have yourself, Edward, as a debutant, and Dwayne McCormick, who's ready to roll as well, and he's been right on top of his game the last few years. It's healthy stuff. And it seems like a lifetime ago now, but your team international debut is only 4 or 5 years ago at the Trans-Tasman, and that was the perfect debut. You super form. So the match.
Yeah, that was probably the form of my life. So you know, it feels good knowing that I was playing well then, and you know, can regain some of that for this event coming back. So yeah, that was.
And I'm not sure on my timeline, but New Zealand in the World Singles, was that the year before the Trans-Tasman? Was that when you won the New Zealand?
Yeah, it was. So we had New Zealand Open was 2000. Oh no, it was this. Yeah, it was the same year. Was it? No, it was the year after. Oh, I don't know actually.
I can't remember but anyway, I remember the New Zealand Open result and seeing some of your players, the reports you were playing was just phenomenal stuff.
Well, that was a great event because you know, I had a I mean, we're now on, you know, more personal stuff, but watching Robert go around is just nice to watch, but there's, you know, not as much to talk about.
No,
but anyway,
sometimes the vision does the commentary for you on this.
Exactly. No, so yeah, New Zealand, that was a great trip, and you know, I wanted to play well at United. It's somewhere that I'd been challenged at before, and for anyone who gets the chance to play at United Croquet Club in Christchurch, it's really a world-class venue. As far as the lawns go, they are unique, and I really wanted to challenge myself at that venue against the best players in the world, and ended up coming out with a really good result. And then going on to the Worlds, you know, and then we had not long after that played in the Dixon Advisory with yourself, which is where we mentioned Trevor did that SXPO, and you know, I was trying sextuples left, right, and centre, and then to have Robert pull out that Trans Tasman, and you know, give myself or be given the opportunity to take his place and playing that event was magic. So yeah, looking forward to try and continue that legacy of international team wins in the next few months.
Yes, well, the rest of Australia will have full confidence and everything behind you, Edward. It's going to be special for us to have the event here in Australia and at Kenley, and have My Sport Live also streaming it for us.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'll I'll hope to pop up and, you know, have a few chats on My Sport Live. Get some insight of what's happening during the match.
A little bit different because we had streaming in America, but it was kind of like one of those fisheye static cameras, so it kind of was difficult vision for everyone to watch.
I was sleepless for 3 weeks, Pete. I watched that little camera the whole time.
So the advancements from what the English were able to do for the GC Worlds, when we were able to watch Robert and Alison play, and now what we're going to have in My Sport Live is incredible. You know, 5 years on.
Yeah. Yep.
We have this service to croquet players is fantastic. Anyway, Robert's in really healthy position while we've been chatting. He's up to the hoop sits with the penult peel to follow. Black's looking like a good load there when I saw it going across. So Blue's in a position where he can put this yellow through with a little bit of pace.
Yeah, he just ran into a little bit of trouble.
Much, yeah.
Well, not trouble, but didn't get the rush really to. This is a dribble. Yeah, didn't get his rush pointing to hoop 6, so he had to roll from, you know, 1.5 yards away, and that is a role that no one likes taking on. You know, when you're really trying for tight position and getting purely in a tight position, it feels horrible. You just feel there's a lot more risk involved in that shot than needs to be at that stage of the break. Robert's quite a good player of it. You can see that it's just given him.
He was just trying to get that to drop into the jaw, wasn't he? And it was like no pull coming because it's gone straight into the leg he was aiming at.
Yeah, he won't be able to rush peel that from there. So, and it's a tricky one because it's hard to rush into a spot where you can play a death roll as well. So
No,
yeah, tricky
I
little
don't
ball
know if he'll
movement
be
coming
taking
up.
much risk around that. Yeah, it may be Appeal going to fall back.
Yeah, he's looking at
I'm
positions
not
that
sure.
he can
Yeah,
play the role.
Yep.
You know, Robert is has a lot of control on large roles, so can't see a reason
There's
why he
no
wouldn't take
danger
that
in.
on. Yeah,
It probably,
and where
as
he's put
Croquet's
that ball.
progress, Robert. Yeah, sorry, Edward. As Croquet's progress, we probably need a new name for the death roll because it's been well and truly had its stigma of never do it, no used to do it, don't do it, to so many people playing it exceptionally well, and especially like you say, Robert, knowing exactly the ins and outs of it, and that it still gets called the death roll, whereas it's probably likely
Yeah,
the role that brings him
it's a pretty
back on track to
standard
finish
movement.
the turn.
I remember we had a training for the South Australian state team at one point, and our coach at the time, who was teaching us to do delayed triples, actually instructed us to do death rolls as part of a delayed triple ball movement, which is was
kind of
very
refreshing in
entertaining.
a way. Yeah.
There's a couple of people in the room were fairly shocked, but we so they to the point where people felt that they were the standard ball movement, as you're saying, rather than an issue. So for those who actually don't know what we're mentioning here, a death roll is where you attempt to peel penultimate going to your ball at two back, which Robert may be trying here. He's left himself pretty conservative with red, just making sure he had a shot on yellow. So the rush here is a little bit more difficult to get it into a good position.
It's a bit difficult now, and
so,
which means room than what he would have wanted. Yeah,
exactly. But it means that there's less pressure on this because he knows that it's higher difficulty. So if he doesn't get it, he won't be, thinking about it too much. So, like, if he happens to just send a ball off to the side, he won't even think about it. He'll just continue his break, as usual, which is nice sometimes. Where if he was in a perfect position and still didn't quite get it, and it was a bit more challenging, there's a few more things going on in your mind. Where exactly? So he hasn't got position, so he'll just not even look at it and continue his break.
And it's probably a good. Well, no, it might not be in keeping with your South Australian coaching coach, Edward, but I was always, this is going back a while, I always was kind of told, no problem doing the death roll going to two back if you need to, for certain reasons, play that line of play. But a death roll going to free back was a no-no because you probably are not likely to peel Rover before Rover anyway, so the risk wasn't worth the death roll, and I kind of always had that in my mind, and I've probably stuck to it, but I might have to reassess that as well.
No, I don't disagree with that. And it's out of your line of play. So if you don't quite get down there, then the rush is a bit more difficult. Where you're on the rush line of the ball when you're going down to two back. As you saw, Robert intentionally left blue a little bit shorter, so that the roll wasn't quite as difficult. It's a
you're
nice
running the hoop to the boundary, whereas free back, there's some
exactly.
control issues as well.
Exactly. Yep. So the old coach did mention that you could do the death roll to three back, but as you can see here, Robert might try it since the load at three back is north of the hoop by a yard or so. So again, as we were mentioning, it's on the rush line. wouldn't think he will. And he's just having some issues
But
with
he
his grip.
is, as you mentioned earlier, he is fresh off doing a sextuple, but things feel a little bit easier and controllable, don't they, when you're facing
and
a triple.
There is an element of fun when you're playing these turns. It is fun to do do a death roll here and there. You like play it up for the crowd. I know that I